Alright, y'all, we back on our dating scene, man. You already know I'm giving y'all the formula, you feel me? And so today's video is gonna be, should you date multiple people at once? Okay? Like, this to me is a very important topic because a lot of people, I've been actually noticing more and more, are getting out into the dating world or been out in the dating world, and they don't really like know how to navigate through meeting people. And so now I just decided to cover it. Like, so what do you do? Like, should you date multiple people at once? Well, we are gonna get into that today. Cue that intro. Alright, so let's get right into it. Should you date multiple people at once? Well, before I answer the question, we have to ask ourselves, what is your type? Now, we've heard this for years. It sounds so generic, it sounds so blah, but the older you get, actually I won't even say older, the more experience that you get when it comes to meeting people and being with people, you definitely develop what you actually like. Like, we've all heard ourselves, oh yeah, opposites attract. Well, let me tell you right now, that to me is the furthest thing from the truth. If someone has a negative mindset, and I'm only using one example, I could keep going, and someone has a positive mindset, like, it doesn't work, okay? Like, they just don't mesh. Okay, we can keep going. If a person is a foodie, and then you prefer to cook all the time, you can compromise. But if this person really wants to eat out 7 days a week and you want to cook 5 days a week, you know, because it could be your fitness goals, it don't matter. It's just not going to work. You know what I mean? Like, we can keep going. Like I say, I think you all get it. So, like, I think there's a bunch of narratives pushed out there on what works in relationships that honestly just don't work in real life. So I want to be able to like bring that together completely within this video. So now we're back to the type portion. So what is your type? All right, now what that means is you need to figure out what is it you like, what are your interests, what are you open to learning from another individual. Like, all of these things matter because a lot of times people go into relationships or they go into things and they don't even know like what they want. And then what happens is you start talking to a person and then 2-3 months down the road, you realize, oh my God, we are just completely incompatible because I didn't like these things and I didn't like these things. But like, instead of you just backing out at that point, a lot of people, what do? Y'all know. They overcommit because you're like, damn, they fall victim to the sunk loss fallacy. Like, oh, I put 3 months in, so I might as well see it through because maybe this person will just change, or maybe I'll just change, when you realize that like that's not who you want to be, and that's okay. And I think like so many people have lost sight of the point of like what compromise actually means. It definitely means like compromising like some of yourself, because if you want a relationship to work, you both have to give. But I think people also don't realize that like you don't want to compromise your authenticity either. Like, if there's some things you really just don't enjoy doing, you should not do those things, like even in a relationship, because all it does is just make each other unhappy. Like, and I'm sure y'all seen enough social media stories or famous people's stories, or just maybe within your own circle, maybe you yourself, like where you're like, damn, you're right. It's definitely times I was doing shit that I hated, but I felt like I was in a relationship, so I just kept doing it anyway, you know? And so, should you date multiple people at once? The answer is a resounding yes. You should, because you need to figure out what you like. Now, you might follow me up and say, oh, but like, how do you do that? No worries. I have a part 2 coming to explain how to actually date multiple people at once and the best way to go about it, because a lot of people jump too quickly into dating, and like committing is the word I'm looking for. You jump too quickly into committing, okay? Like, listen, you're not gonna know a person until y'all actually go through something together, okay? Like, and sometimes once you get over, what do they call it, the honeymoon phase, which is that first month, 2 months, 3 months, like that's when the little things could start to trickle in, because parties are starting to get comfortable. And if y'all already weren't those type of people that was super vulnerable from the beginning and sharing your thoughts and ideas and perspectives on things, then like now is when those things might creep in, and now you're caught off guard. Like, let's say y'all never really talked about politics in the first 3 months. The whole time your partner is heavy into politics and they have highly opinionated views on it. And not only are they like kind of stuck on their side, but they also don't like, they don't want to affiliate with someone who is on the other side. Like, you don't even, all right, so I'm not into politics, so I try to stay as far away from that as I can. But y'all don't even want to know how many women I've talked to, and then like a little bit after we talking, like, just so you know, I'm like Democrat. I'm like, okay, well, like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay, I do know what it means, but I'd be like saying it just to hear their thoughts because I'm a curious person. And they're like, well, if you were a Republican, I wouldn't even let your dick go inside of me. You know what I mean? So people be heavily strong on those things. And so like, I would just say like, there's so much about a person that you need to figure out that first and foremost, you should stay in that dating phase. I mean, people could say upgraded to a relationship after 2-3 months. Me, I think you should stay in that dating phase for almost like 6 months, and during that time you should be talking to other people also to like, yeah, even longer than 6 months, probably some days, but like, and during that time talk to other people also to figure out what is your thing, because if you don't know yet, it makes it hard. Now a person could right now say to me, well, what if I know my thing? I've been dating for a minute, like I dated multiple people, I got my experiences down, I know what I want. Okay, cool. So now that you know what you want, then your goal is to make sure that you don't fall victim to trying to upgrade it to a relationship too quickly because you're desperate, right? Because let's just be honest, the more experience sometimes you get and the more you know what you want, you feel like when you see those qualities off the back that you're instantly ready to commit. But you need that, but that also is a sign of desperation that you really want to get into a relationship. So you need to scale yourself back and recognize that like you gotta have fun still. Like I think a lot of people forgot the fun part of dating. Like it's no longer fun to them. Everything is like a process. Meet, date, have great time. 3 months later, relationship. 1 year later, talk about marriage. A year and a half later, we talk about kids. It just goes so like people got this structure in their brain that it has to flow this way, but it doesn't. Like you gotta have fun with it, and just let it come to you naturally, and just be like a part of that moment and move with intention, and that's it. So yeah, part 2 is gonna be how to date multiple people. But I hope y'all enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in the next one.